So we have a head on our bolt. We have the bolts going through. We need to add some threads to the very end. So this thread feature, we're just going to use what it automatically generates because threads can get pretty complicated. So we're going to select the outside face here. We want to click modeled. We don't want this to be the full version. We just want it to be about, we'll call it 4.5 millimeters. So when we look at it, you see the threads are coming down about 4.5 millimeters. And then we'll just hit OK. So it's looking good. Look at, we have something to screw into now. We're going to save again. Just it might get a little squirrely and shut down on me here. I don't trust these machines. So it's good to save, yada yada, you know my spiel. So we're going to create a new sketch, and we're going to do this the same way we created the hex bolt on the other side. We're going to do the same thing on the front side here. So let's start out with a circle, find our midpoint. So this will be 5 millimeters, or it's actually 4.5 millimeters to keep things relatively tight. Hit enter. And then we're going to create a polygon with a circumscribed polygon. And then we just would like it to come to the edge here. So let's say 4.25, not 3.5, 4.25. Looks good to me. And then we're going to come back in here and finish our sketch. And then we're going to create a new extrusion. So let's extrude it. We're going to hide our king bolt so we don't accidentally latch onto that. I want to select my profiles right here. Actually, I don't want these middle ones. And then let's change our view. This was 4.5. That looks good to me. We'll hit OK. Now we've created a bolt, and then we're going to use the Create drop-down menu to select Thread. We're going to click this inside face, select Modeled, and then hit OK. And so now when we turn our Analyze tool back on and turn our bolt on, we can see that things possibly are maybe lining up, but they are slightly off. So let's move our stuff around. So grab this body. We're going to move this. And then I want to change my point that this is grabbing stuff from. Hit OK. Zoom in nice and close and give this a little shift. 0.5 is too much, so let's say 0.4. All right, you see how now things are nice and wedged in here. So maybe that wasn't the right direction to go. We'll go this way. We'll go 0.4. And then we'll just adjust the size of our bolt to make it a little bit shorter so that we don't have this part that is now inside of our spacer, because that isn't realistic. So let's adjust this 0.35, 0.375, and that looks pretty good to me. So I'll hit OK, and I'm going to go back and edit this extrusion, which is 4.5, so we'll just call it 4.25, hit OK, go back to my back view, zoom out, and then see where that left us. Okay, so if I zoom in here, yep, look at that. We have a nice little tolerance space. There could be one between the bushing and the spacer, but things are getting pretty tight in there, so it's all relative. It doesn't really matter, especially just for a 3D model. We're not 3D printing this or anything, so the tolerances are fine as is. So yeah, that's what the inside of this looks like. We will take our Analyze section off, and now we're going to repeat that same command to create some threads on the ends here of our axle, and then put a couple nuts on that, and then hit save. And in the next step, we're going to take the wheels that we created last week or in the previous tutorial, and we're going to import them onto this model here. So don't know if I did this. I'll just hit save again. Okay. One more time, we're going to use the thread tool. We're going to select this face. We're going to model it. I don't want it to be the full part, 10 millimeters. Let's make it 12 millimeters. 10's fine. 10's fine, and then once we look at the imported model, or once we put everything together, we will see how what we need to adjust. Thread, modeled. I don't want it to be the full thing. 10 millimeters, that looks good to me. So, like what we got here. This looks like a legitimate truck for a skateboard. Okay, and as usual, hit your save button. Oh, I already did. Okay, so let's open up a wheel build or a wheel tutorial that we made. So I have this skateboard wheel that I've already created. It should be the one from last week. I just changed the color on it. And we're going to create we have this part open. And what you do actually is you just, we're going to just bring it into the assembly that we've made here. So you right click on the file that you want to open, and the drop down menu opens up, and you'll hit insert into current design, and you'll be able to take this part that you've made and then add it on, or add it into your 3D model here. So let me orient myself and move things around. Click. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. Move this so that it's centered. The closer you zoom in, the more accurate your drag becomes. And that looks like it might be almost center. Let's change the view and drag this up until, oh, we got a ways to go. There it is. So we can grab the center of our shape so that we can make our circles concentric. All right, let's zoom out, see how we're doing here. And then let's drag this so it's all the way inside. And it might be like 17 or 18, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 looks good to me. You could even do 19.5. Let's see. That's like smack dab on. Let's say 19.35 from where I was. It might not be the same for you, so just adjust it accordingly. And now when we look to the front of this, we can see that we actually need to take our thread in a little bit further. So before I get that far, I'm going to take the skateboard wheel I have, I'm going to copy and paste it, and then I'm going to slap it over on the other side. So we'll pan, I will drag, I will flip this guy 180 degrees. Okay, I'm going to bring this in nice and tight. Come change my view a little bit, zoom it in, and then that's good. So we have two wheels on our truck. Let's zoom in, and now we can adjust our threads. So edit feature, this was 10 millimeters, and let's change this up to, let's call it 12.5. And that seems nice. That's solid. Okay. So let's adjust our second side, edit feature, and then this number should be 12.5 also. Save our 3D model. And then our final step is going to be putting a bolt on the edge. So we're going to construct a new plane, or you can just draw right on that surface. I'm doing a plane. I'm going to select my plane, create a new sketch, and then following my original approach to make a bolt, I do the inside first, so we're going to call it 8 millimeters. So that's our inside opening. Then we're going to create a circumscribed polygon. Not circumcised. We'll go 7 millimeters. And then hit finish sketch. And now we're going to extrude this shape. Let's make it 5 millimeters. Let's make it 7. That's too fat. 5. 6. 6 millimeters is what we're going to go with. We're going to hit OK. I want to turn off my skateboard wheel so I can see what I'm doing here. I want to hide my truck. Now I want to create a new thread. Select the inside of the shape. I want it to be modeled, fully threaded. The rest of the stuff, it should just auto-populate for you. Truck, wheels. Okay, and we're going to go back to construction, and we made this plane earlier. So we're going to use this plane to create another section analysis so that we can see, did we do things okay inside here? Is everything lining up? So, yeah, things are lining up pretty well. I'm going to change this view to here. And, you know, I could take body 9, which I need to come back through and relabel. And we could adjust it a little bit. So I could move it in. It's going to go 0.5, but it needs to go like 0.4, 0.3. That's good. Yeah, that's good. And then I can come back and trim that up and make it a little smaller so that works. But for the sake of the things that we're doing, it's okay if this part overlaps. That's just getting like oddly specific. Or what we can do, you see we have this little gap here. We can take our skateboard wheel, and now we can move it in 0.5 or a whole millimeter. Yeah, that works. So there's a little tolerance there. And so you can see the spaces that we've left between all of our little parts. All right, and then we'll hit save. And the last step I want to do is I want to mirror the bolt that I created. Capture position. And then I want to mirror it about this plane here. So let me turn off my construction planes. And my object's been selected. My mirror plane is this front plane. And then it's going to slap it all the way over on the opposite side. And they can hit OK. And now when we look at this, we see we got nice space between everything. We can turn our analysis off. And we've completed our tutorial. So in the next video, we're going to be making our skateboard deck. And then we're going to be putting all of this stuff together and then working on a couple, we're going to add materials to our objects and then do some basic photo rendering so you'll be able to create a photorealistic render of the 3D model that you made. Thanks for joining me in this tutorial, and I will see you guys in the next class.